happy Halloween! Look at that. Cooper, did you dress up for Halloween?
I actually forgot it was Halloween. This was just my my Wednesday evening attire.
Me too. Caught me at the wrong moment. Holy shit! What a week. We can stop being enemies. We had a bitter matchup.
Goodness
It was the
gracious.
game.
Jaden Daniels tried his darndest.
Headlines.
Yeah. I'll kick us off here. Brian, my first headline, really to get the vocals warmed up, the enunciation. Freebooters, flankers forgotten.
Freebooters, flankers forgotten.
There was a lot of waiver warrior talk about Tampa Bay's wideouts last week after both Godwin and Mike Evans were sidelined. And despite a fairly high-scoring game in which the Bucs lost 26-31, not a single Bucs wide receiver tops 10 points. Instead, Cade Otton had his second straight week with 10 targets, putting up 2 touchdowns, 29 points. But he too was forgotten as he sat on Caden's bench. That being said, Caden's still able to get it done 123-111 over Kyle's team.
That's crazy. Forgotten on the bench. On National Tight Ends Day, you should have started 2 tight ends. Next up, we're going to talk about our matchup some more, is what we're going to do.
Oh boy, let's do it.
Of course. Cooper, we had a crazy matchup, as you know, but I don't think we really did have a matchup. The headline is Proxy War. Proxy War. Because our 2 high-scoring players were not even players that were on our team. They're not our players. They're Kyle's players and John's players. I'm talking about Devon Achane and James Cook. James Cook got 28. Achane got 26.7. Hell, you want to come on and give Kyle a win for this one. James Cook absolutely bailed me out for this. Kyle should get some credit for that.
Brian, I was at the Broncos-Panthers game on Sunday. I checked the score at halftime. I think I had an 89% chance of winning. I pop in there fourth quarter, and it's flip-flopped. I see James Cook has put up 28 points. DJ Moore
That's
not
ridiculous.
doing what I wanted him to do in my flex. That being said, a lot better than who would have been there. A certain Bills wide receiver, who will not be named.
Interesting. I'm about to name him right now. It's Amari Cooper. Just so everybody knows what's going on, because I'm extremely petty, and I obviously do all the editing here. We're going to put how that trade ended up for both teams up on the screen here.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it in a second.
Score for Cooper.
John got a win this week. He put up 140.
Interesting. Cooper. Time out.
We're timed out.
Are you talking?
Yeah.
You are jumping in and out.
I assume it'll be okay on the recording.
Oh, like if you're talking now, I can't hear you. Nothing.
Let me try something. All right, I'm going to say some numbers, and then you repeat them back to me as soon as you hear them, so I know how laggy this is. 7, 12, 18,
Sure.
4,
7, 12,
6.
18, 4, 6.
It's about 2-second delay.
Say something? I have no idea. Hello, Mr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Brian, we were in the middle of last week's headlines. You talked about our infamous matchup and some of the new acquisitions to both of our teams that helped get us there. I don't know if you're feeling the same in Chicago, but my headline, it is officially sweater weather. And what I mean by that is the collective fantasy world has been fleeced by October's blockbuster trades. Devontae Adams going to the Jets has averaged 7.7 points. Amari Cooper, easy as 1, 2, 3. 1 catch, 2 targets, 3 yards last week against the Seahawks. And D-Hop, 4.9 points in his Chiefs debut. Begs the question, will Deontay Johnson break the mold joining the Ravens? My hypothesis, absolutely not. He is
No chance.
He is opposite to what Zay Flowers is, which is a versatile long ball threat. Deontay Johnson really likes the in-breaking routes, the quick passes, and that is not Lamar's game. I don't see how those two jive well together.
I don't see it either. Yeah, I don't see that one either. That's going to be tough. Cooper, again, everything this week is relating back to our matchup, but not really. Obviously, we were sweating out that Monday night matchup. Wait, it wasn't Monday, it was Sunday night against the Niners and the Cowboys. You needed just some points from the defense, and you were about to get it.
I had it for a short period.
You had it for a short period of time until the headline, Oscar the Grouch, came out. CD Lamb and the Cowboys. You want to know why? Because they live in garbage time, Cooper. They live in garbage time. That is where they make their money. Scored almost all of his points in the fourth quarter down big. Down big, light standoff coverages. CD Lamb goes out and scores 2 tutties, gets him 39.6 points to beat Logan, by the way. This headline is about... Wait a minute.
Yeah. To beat Matt. Yeah. To beat Matt.
To beat Matt. Yeah, to beat Matt. I'm sorry about that, Skull. I got you on the brain. A bad beat, 130 points. That's a bad beat. That's an extremely bad beat.
In our matchup of the week, no less, and I hate to brag, I called it live on the spot that this time last year, CD dropped 40, and what did he do? He went out and dropped 40 again. I can tell you it wasn't this upcoming weekend, because that was my wedding weekend when JD knocked my socks off. It was the week after that. So Chris is definitely losing this week after a dud from CD. What am I saying? CD put up like 40 points my wedding weekend, and I still lost. So
that's right.
I gotta change my prediction. CD's dropping 35. I'm giving this game to Chris off of a stellar performance from CD.
You did. You flipped your prediction right on its head, right down there, and I gave you some shit for it.
Brian, with my final headline, big announcement. You know it. You love it. The GFL has won a bid for its first confectionery sponsor.
My God, we are collecting sponsorships like it's our job.
What better time than right before Halloween to get our first candy sponsorship from none other than nerds themselves?
Nerds?
Brian, what is the best type of nerds?
The small ones that you can shoot the entire box inside your mouth. Don't replay that.
Close. You're showing your age with not speaking to one of their newer variations. It's Nerds Clusters.
Nerds Clusters. Okay, go on.
And you're close enough to a data scientist. We have some real data scientists in the league that should know what a cluster is. You've got numerous data points all grouped closely together. Well, let me tell you, the GFL was bundled up tight in Week 8, netting our highest average points for in the season at 125 across the league.
Yeah, the boys showed out.
The third lowest variance at only 52 points between the highest scoring and the lowest scoring. If it weren't for Will, it would have been 34.
I'm going to say, there's one outlier.
Yeah, shockingly, Brian, despite the high points for, no one scored their individual season high, nor did anyone see their individual season low. Truly a strength in numbers situation from the GFL, and would you believe it? Your team would have lost in the strength of schedule median ranking for Week 8.
My team?
Your team.
What? I scored 125. That's crazy.
It's incredible. As I was saying, mind like a goldfish. You're gonna need one here to even attempt to agree with this trick player for the week. Brian, it's James Cook.
Hang on a minute.
And this is a scalding hot take because he put up 28 points the last time he faced the Dolphins.
Yeah,
but I think it's a different story with Tua back. I think the Dolphins come out swinging. They lost to Arizona last week in a last-second field goal.
They did.
I think the Dolphins are going to get hot to start. Buffalo's going to be playing from behind. Josh Allen's going to want to get his wide receivers involved, spread the field, and there won't be as many rushing opportunities for James Cook as we expect.
Good thing he's involved in the passing game. We'll see.
Nope.
I think you're just mad. You're just mad at James Cook. Just say it. Just admit it. I would be livid at James Cook.
I was in talks about getting him, and then I see a little ESPN notification. Trade confirmed in the league.
Man, that's crazy. It took me all of 5 minutes to get that trade through.
That's awful.
That is something. Well, guess what? We're going to talk about some more things that are haunting managers because we got the spooky segment coming to you since last year when we did a spooky segment like this. We're going to talk about what is haunting all of the different league managers. Cooper, you've got the West. I've got the East because I'm very familiar with the East Best Conference. Do you want to start or do I want to start?
I'll start.
Sure.
I'm just going to go in a random order here.
Okay.
You know what's haunting Jimmy?
What's haunting Jimmy?
The possibility that he might not be forced to run a marathon. That man wants to lose. He is. It's clear in his waiver picks. It's clear in the way he manages his team. He doesn't want a dub in the stat sheet.
He just keeps playing Tyler Algier. He just keeps doing it. He just keeps doing it. I've talked with him multiple times. Won't do it.
Kyle Pitts is begging Jimmy to get a better team.
Absolutely.
It's finally happened. Kyle Pitts has had a consistent run of games, and Jimmy says, no, we're tanking.
We're tanking. Reach out to JD. JD's got 3 running backs. And Sam Porta, who's ass. He's going to be ass again. Go give him Kyle Pitts. There's something there. There's absolutely something there. We're going to do Brett. Obviously. Brett, I don't even have to say much about it. We're going to keep it short and sweet. It's the postseason. Postseason is haunting Brett.
Yeah.
If he loses again in the postseason this year, he's going to garner Dallas Cowboys comparisons. Good in the regular season, bad at the postseason.
Very similar haunt to what I have for Chris of the Bikini Bottom Goobers. It's a first-round playoff exit. Because at this point, he's making the playoffs. He's 99 or 97% chance. But unless something turns around with that team, I think there's too many holes in it to make a playoff run.
I agree. Next up, it's Matt. What's haunting him is the ability to make a trade in the ESPN app. If I were him, I would email ESPN and email the developers and ask them to disable the trade button on my side. From Saquon, Zay, who now just got traded, Deontay to the Ravens there, so that's his usage is going to go down. It was already not that good to begin with. The JT trade was pretty good. I'll give him that one. But yeah, that's Matt.
Brian, the thing that's haunting Will, wherever the heck he is having to speak to his fantasy team. It's like a father that left the house and never came back. He's terrified to talk to any of those players. Zamir White is still on his team.
You got to get out of there. You absolutely have to get him out of there. I'll do one for Seth real quick. Seth Quizman. Seth's biggest fear is Will coming back and ruining the team. Seth's been doing great without Will. He's been doing so good when Will's gone. He's got to drop Zamir White. Seth, if you're watching, get Zamir out of there. Get him out of there. He's the number 2
Can we
guy.
get Seth on as a guest interview next week?
I think we can hook something like that up. Next up, Kyle. Kyle's next up. What's haunting Kyle? I just put it in the group chat and he didn't respond. He's playing Gabe Davis this week. The curse has moved on to its next victim. He's playing Gabe Davis this week. And you know what I think will happen? Gabe Davis will do really well.
Yep.
He's like a virus. He will supplant himself in the team, and he will not leave, and he will slowly eat away at you throughout the season.
Brian, it's incredible how many of our haunts are lining up here. The thing haunting Logan is that Gabe Davis plays on Kyle's team this week and puts up 25 points. It is bound to happen. And there's going to be that pang of regret. Even if you know it was for the best that you split up with an ex, you see him successful, you see him happy, and you want a piece of that back.
It absolutely hurts. With John, the Florida man, what's haunting him is literally anybody with the name Henry. Anybody with the name Henry. Derrick Henry, and your middle name is Henry, because you robbed him in that trade. And Derrick Henry basically entered his nightmares and beat him up while he slept and gave him the loss there.
Doth the Raven nevermore.
Thank you.
Brian, do you want... I've got two left, and it's you and myself. I'm going to start with my team.
Please do.
The team has looked better since some injury, since Cup was back last week, Tua is back. The thing haunting me is if my first-round pick, Tyreek Hill, doesn't top 20 points again after his first game of the season.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's going on with him?
I do not know. I mean, Achane made up for it last week, but still, Tyreek hasn't had a touchdown in like 6 weeks.
He'll be all right. My prediction is that he will turn around. We'll see.
Well, I sure hope so.
Another week one sort of haunting. The guy's Caden. What's haunting him is week one. Back when literally all the same players he has on his team right now scored 77 points. In a moment's notice, he could go back to being bad again.
I don't get it. I really don't.
Those are all the same guys.
That's incredible.
They could revert.
No, Brian, the thing haunting your team, and one of your players in particular, is the damn brotherly shove, the tush push. Jalen Hurts has had 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games, rushing touchdowns, I should specify, and that's hurting Saquon.
Oh, he's getting vultured for sure. This week's matchup between me and Logan is going to be a battle of who gets, if they stop on the 2 or if they stop on the 1. That's going to be the entire matchup. That's going to be the whole thing right there. And last but certainly not least, one of our favorite managers is JD. What is haunting JD? It's us. We are haunting JD. We keep picking this guy, and he keeps sucking. He keeps losing. He's 3-5. We picked him damn near every week. I think we got to reverse it. We got to switch it up, and I think we keep jinxing him.
He put up a solid score. He put up 125.2 last week.
I know, and if you were paying attention, Brett ended with 130, and they stat corrected back to 127. Brett could have lost on that stat correction.
Wait, I missed it. What was the stat correction?
We don't know. We think it was the Los Angeles Chargers defense.
Oh my goodness.
He went backwards closer towards that score. That was close. It was close.
Wow. Brian, you mentioned your and Logan's matchup. Undoubtedly a heated one. Both of you all sitting at 5-3.
5-3. Massive playoff implications. Massive.
In any other week, that would certainly be the matchup of the week. But where we need to focus right now is the 2 titans of this league, LeBron's third leg and the Bikini Bottom Goobers.
Oh, absolutely. Two, I think, Vegas odds favorites to win the league since week one, and they have both showed up to the bill. They have done great, even though I think the Goobers are a little bit fraudulent. Cooper, just break this one down for me. Just break it down. This is a marquee matchup.
I've got a few big points here, some of which may surprise you. First and foremost, Kyler Murray broke the COD curse.
He did.
He had a good game last week, despite COD 6 or Black Ops 6 coming out. Josh Jacobs has been booming. He was your boom player of the week last week.
He was.
That being said, Brett still has 3 tight ends on his roster and an excess of wide receivers.
Power football, baby. That's what he's doing.
On the flip side of the ball, Alvin Kamara is taking on Carolina. The Panthers, I think there's a chance that they go up so quickly in that game that Kamara doesn't play much. Obviously a concern. Carolina also held the entirety of the Broncos running backs to under 100 yards last week. So they've got a decent run defense.
Yeah,
that being said, CD has officially started the season. He popped off with 40 last week. Waddle wasn't super involved with Tua's return. Now they're taking on a strong Buffalo secondary. I mentioned Pittman as my boom player of the week. I think those net out pretty close. The difference maker here is going to be Brett's kicker, Younghoe Koo.
Younghoe Koo? Oh my God.
Kickers are averaging 9.5 points against the Cowboys this year. Koo's currently only projected about 8.6. I think he's my secondary boom player of the week. He's dropping at least 12.
That's crazy. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate that at all. When I'm looking at Brett's team, I'm seeing a lot of injuries. 3 injuries. DKT and somebody else, if I'm not mistaken. He's got no San Francisco, no McCaffrey to bail him out, or Jordan Mason. He'll be back next week. And Kylie's got some just overall bad matchups throughout the team. Kyler in Chicago. Yep. I actually have Josh Jacobs written down here as a secondary boof or a trick, if you will.
Wow, okay.
Like that versus the Detroit defense. And if you're looking at Chris, Pittman's getting that boost. CD's on the rise. Evan Ingram is him. I love Evan Ingram. Had him last year. He's an absolute dog. If Brian Thomas Jr. misses time,
that would be a game changer.
Trevor Lawrence is going to throw 15 checkdowns for 167 yards and a touchdown to Evan Ingram. Everybody knows Evan Ingram gives you one extreme boom game. It could be
and you
coming
think
now.
This is it?
It could be coming now. I remember last year I asked for it and he gave it to me right when I asked for it. Literally everything is telling me to go with the Goobers here, but I won't. I can't do it. These are the matchups that Brett comes out and wins. When I text you and I say, how did you win this game? How did you get Darnell Mooney to drop 30 points on a Thursday night? How do you get these role players to step? How do you get players to do this? And I think the Goobers are fraudulent. We're looking at a low-scoring game, 114 to 112 for LeBron's third leg.
Wow. Brian, I've got it a little bit further split, but in the same direction. 128 to LeBron's third leg, 108 to Chris of the Bikini Bottom Goobers.
You said a bunch of good things about the Goobers. You couldn't pick them.
Nope.
You couldn't pick them.
Kamara's not topping 12 points. I'll tell you that much.
Wow.
That's actually probably a lie. He's probably dropping 22. But
I think this will absolutely test the Goobers' ability to, or the LeBron's third leg ability to win. Just win. Just win. Just go out and win.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this special Trick or Treat Halloween episode of Ball and Chain. Brian, anything to say to the fans before we go?
Go out and get as much candy as you possibly can. Jimmy, stay indoors. I know you can't be around kids. Everybody else, have some fun out there and a happy Halloween from the Ball and Chain.
Take care, folks.